Wednesday, May 17th, 2023, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Today, we're going to look at an honest central banker. Yes, there is such a thing. This central banker admitted that gold is the ultimate insurance and that it's better than the dollar. But before we do that, I have a couple of updates for you. The first one, on the lighter side and more fun side, is that Rudy graduated from level 1 in puppy training classes. Yes, it took 6 weeks, and he's going to be going on to level 2 in a couple of weeks, and I'll keep you updated on that. Second update is more serious, as I said, is to do with business. And back on April 30th, I did a video about US Goldmining Inc. And just before I give you an update, I like to say that this is for informational purposes only, that you should do your due diligence and your own research. And I also like to say that I own US Goldmining Inc. So what's happened at US Goldmining Inc? Well, the numbers are still very interesting. Not much has changed, and you can watch my video from April 30th. I'll put it up in the cards in the description where I talk about it in more detail. Basically, it still has the 9.4 million resources of gold. 3 million of those, of course, are indicated resources, and 6.4 million are inferred. So what has changed? As you can see here, the stock price has gone from just under $10 when I spoke about it, and it's now just below 15. And we've seen that gold mining, which is the company that spun off US Goldmining Inc., they've bought more into the company. They own now over 80% of the float, and they're going to hold on to it because they know the true value of this company, the potential value of this company. So the interesting thing about this company, if you look at the numbers, let's look at the market cap. Right now it's about $181 million, and it has $20 million in cash, which will be used, of course, at its Whistler property in Alaska, a very rich region for natural resources and gold especially. They're going to be using that 20 million to try to, unlock even more value from the resources they have. And equivalent companies that have this kind of resources, they're going for around $50 per ounce in terms of their resources, $50 per ounce of gold, that is. But if you take 181 million, you deduct the 20 million in cash that it has, the enterprise value, and the company's been valued at around $17. So there's a lot of potential. And more interestingly, in the last few years in the same region, we've seen properties being taken over by the majors for around $100. And this kind of resource, 9.4 million, is quite rare. It's a huge, pretty big resource, I would say. And we've seen recently as well that there's consolidation in the mining industry. The other point I like to reiterate is that Tim Smith was appointed as the company's CEO, and he played an instrumental part in selling a gold company for around 520 million Canadian dollars in 2016, which values the resources at $130 an ounce. So right now, this company, its resources are being valued at around $17 per troy ounce. Another thing that I've heard is happening and could impact US Goldmining Inc., and the ticker, of course, is USGO on Nasdaq, is that the Russell 2000 index is going to have its reconstitution starting from May 19th, which means that there's a good chance that US Goldmining Inc., if it trades, let's say, at $20 or above in the next month from May 19th, it could be included into the Russell 2000 index, which would put it on the radar screen of a lot of retirement fund managers. So, of course, that could make things even more interesting for US Goldmining Inc. So if you want to find out more about it, go to the description of this video and click on the link to their website and have a look. And with that, let's look at the central banker who actually maybe he slipped, or maybe he's honest, and maybe he's not that important in the Dutch central bank scheme of things hierarchy, but I think he is. And I don't know who he is, but he's some kind of spokesperson, and he looks like he's taking care of the gold holdings of the Dutch central bank. And I'm gonna play this little clip that Gainesville Coins put on a thread here on Twitter, so you can listen to it.
Goud zo'n 4 ton per stuk waard en dan nog munten. Maar in een tijd van elektronisch betalen, waarom hebben we dit nog nodig als land?
Goud is dus het ultieme vertrouwensanker. Dus als het hele financiële stelsel instort, dan heb je altijd nog het goud. En het goud blijft zijn waarde houden. En in een financiële crisis weet je nooit of andere dingen, zoals de dollar bijvoorbeeld, of die zijn waarde blijft houden. Maar goud blijft zijn waarde houden.
De nieuwe kluis is op een defensieterrein en dus extra goed beveiligd.
So there you go. He said that gold is the ultimate anchor of trust. If the entire financial system collapses, you still have gold, and gold retains its value. And he did say that it's better than the dollar, of course. He's not silly, the central banker. And this came out, I think, on Dutch TV. And what's happening in the Netherlands in terms of their gold? Well, William Middelkoop, who I follow on Twitter as well, he reported, I think, yesterday or the day before, that it's official. Dutch Fort Knox has been filled with 31% of the official Dutch gold holdings. Over the past 4 weeks, the Nederlandse Bank has moved more than 200 tons of gold bars and gold coins with a total value of 10.4 billion euros from the DNB vaults in Haarlem to the new cash center in Zeist. That's Haarlem, the Netherlands, not New York, just to let you know. And funnily enough, though, the Dutch central bank still holding 31% of its gold at the New York Fed, and 38% with of its gold is being held in London by the Bank of England and Ottawa. I personally think that's a bad mistake, but I guess with the experience the Netherlands and the Dutch had in World War II, you can understand why they want to have some of their gold over the channel here in Britain and also across the Atlantic. But one thing I would say, you can bet the New York Fed and the Bank of England are using a lot of that gold to help hypothecate the paper shorts in the market. But that's another topic there, the topic of manipulation. Just before we look at the markets, though, just wanted to refresh our memories with a pocketbook of gold here by Jim Sinclair. Some of you have said that Jim Sinclair is a Rothschild. Well, Jim Sinclair is actually from the Seligman family. Yes, they were one of the original families of Our Crowd, which is a book that he recommended about the great German Jewish families of New York that went from basically nothing into financing the Civil War, creating the Federal Reserve. But Jim Sinclair has always been a good guy, in my opinion. He's been trying to inform the public since 2002 I started following his blog, JS Mindset. I think that blog has been terminated recently. But I have to say he's been of great help to me. And I'm going to reference what he talks about here on page 70. And this has all to do with what's going on, in my opinion, and why we need to hold on to our physical gold and silver, just like the central bankers are holding on to theirs. It says, gold is a revealer of falsely stated wealth. So what does that mean? Well, the falsely stated wealth is what we've had since 1971, when the dollar became detached from real wealth, i.e. gold. And it also became detached from real wealth back in 1965, when the silver was taken out of circulation of the US coinage. So this is what he says here. When wealth is overstated and expectations for future wealth are unrealistic, fiat currencies depreciate. The depreciation is borne by the citizenry, who are forced to lower their living standards to compensate for both personal economic mismanagement as well as the mismanagement of the affairs of state. I mean, this is happening right now as we speak. Financial and military overextensions has a social corollary in overpromised Social Security, Medicare, overstated real estate equities affluence. As expense runs out of control, guarantees to the citizenry also explode as politicians seek to retain the privilege of office. This book was written back in, I think, 2011. And I just saw yesterday a headline that they're talking about now a company, a consumer watchdog, or company called Which here in the UK is pushing the government to help now with food prices. Yes, they've helped us with utility prices, and now it's food prices that they're pushing for. I mean, this is part of this. Politicians guaranteeing the citizenry. All it's going to do is make it worse. It's going to debase the currency even more. But the promises of wealth are false. The belief that ownership of real estate is a ticket to fortunes is hollowed out for what it is, a myth. Wealth that has taken for granted suddenly appears ephemeral. The amount of currency which once bought certain things no longer does, but wages have not risen along with prices. Well, what's the symptom of the wages not having risen along with prices? Well, it's all the strikes we're having here in the UK and other countries as well. So there you go. With that, then, let's quickly look at where the markets are this morning. It's 8:15 a.m. London time. We've got spot gold at 1990. It's up about $1. The high's been 93 and the low has been 86. Silver is trading at 23.76. It's up 2 cents. Low's been 64, high 83. So it's a fairly narrow range here so far. The Dow futures is up 56 points. Nasdaq 100 is up 15, and the S&P 500 is up 7. To the currencies, we've got sterling down 0.2%, 124.63. The euro is unchanged, 108.60. The dollar is up 0.33% versus the yen, 136.87. Dollar is unchanged versus the Swiss franc. And the dollar is back up above, and the dollar's just traded back up above 7 versus the yuan. It's up about 0.1%. Let's check the dollar versus the ruble. The dollar's picking back up versus the ruble as well. It's back up above 80 at 80.50. It had traded down to around 75 recently. A little bit ironic, isn't it, that the dollar is going up versus the other fiat currencies as we have this debt ceiling crisis going on. but that's how markets work. They can remain irrational for longer than you can remain solvent sometimes. So Aussie dollar is unchanged, 66.50. The dollar is unchanged versus the Canadian dollar, 134.91. And the Kiwi dollar is up 0.25% at 62.50. To the general commodities, we've got WTI crude down about 0.75% at 70.25. Brent crude is down 0.75 as well, around 74.20. Platinum is up $6 at 1,070, and high grade copper is up 0.5% at 369. To finish off, we're going to look at the bond market here. The 2-year yield is up 1 basis points at 408, and the 10-year is up to finish off, let's quickly look at the US Treasury yield curve. We've got the 2-year yield at 408, so that's popped up a little bit. It was below 4% yesterday, and the 10-year is down about 2 at 353. The 1-month T-bill is at 580, up about 25 basis points. So it looks like overnight foreigners, they don't want to be in the 1-month T-bill in case there is a default. So there you go. With that, I'm going to wish you all a very good day. Take care. Bye.